Chicago's Old Town is a neighborhood about 2 miles north of downtown. Much of the neighborhood feels more like Europe than America, with narrow streets, interesting architecture, and even some nice neighborhood bars. Recently, I'd seen some flyers calling for people to save Old Town from a large high rise. Based on the description I just gave of this quaint historic neighborhood, a massive high rise sounds very disruptive. But this isn't the whole story. You see, the eastern edges of Old Town along Clark and LaSalle are dotted with high rises built along wide roads. The proposed high rise site is at the corner of North and Wells, which is a lot containing a Walgreens and a surface parking lot. But let's do a deep dive on this development proposal and the major concerns the community has with it. The plans for this building have been going on for a few years now and have gone through several iterations. But as of March 2025, the building is planned to have 44 stories with about 350 units. As a part of the plan, they're trying to get a grocery store to take over the empty Treasure Island building, and they would also get rid of the BP and Shell gas stations on LaSalle to make way for more Moody Church buildings. And after reading the full proposal, I was left wondering, okay, what's the problem? A new grocery store, a renovated Walgreens, the removal of some ugly gas stations, and more housing. An organization by the name of Old Town Friends for Responsible Development has been the main dissenting voice against the project, and I visited their website, which lays out their problems with it. And they state four main issues. The first one seems reasonable, although I haven't been following the project for very long. Basically, they want more transparency and details on the project from the developer and a better process for providing community feedback. This makes sense. But then we get to the three main stated reasons for the opposition. First is density. Quote, constructing a towering 500 unit building will create a level of density that is unsustainable for the neighborhood. This website hasn't been updated, but the original plan was to have 500 units, which they negotiated down to 350. What's funny about this is that there's literally a 492 unit high rise on the same block as the proposed site. But what do they mean specifically regarding density? They bring up a few points. First, there is a complaint that a tower comprised mostly of expensive one bedrooms is bad. As for the expensive part of that, the developer has committed to 20% of the units being affordable. As for the only one bedroom part of the complaint, as mentioned, the proposal cut out about 150 studios and one bedrooms to make way for 3+ bedroom units. The website notes that they want a building that, quote, prioritizes a sense of community and diversity congruent with the diverse group of people that make up Old Town. Basically, what I take this to mean is that they don't want just young professionals moving into the building in the area. They want families with kids too. I suppose this is a good thing, as apparently a lot of similar buildings lack larger units. And they also mentioned that current zoning codes don't allow for the proposed density, and making an exception for this tower could, quote, open the floodgates to build more towers in Old Town. This may be true, but again, they keep talking as though the area is totally free of high rises right now. And the Old Town Triangle District has Chicago landmark status, so I see it as unlikely that a truly horrendous building that would actually ruin historic blocks would get approved and built without any oversight. Next up are concerns about traffic. Their website claims that Old Town has a traffic crisis. And it's true that traffic can get bad in the area, but outside of late nights on Wells Street, the traffic level has never seemed much worse than any other neighborhood. And people don't move near downtown Chicago because they think traffic is going to be light. But in response to traffic complaints, the developer paid for a traffic study, which, to be fair, any research done by a company with an agenda should be suspect, but the study showed that traffic will likely improve after making some proposed changes to the surrounding streets and by removing the gas stations. After this study came out, a community member was quoted as saying basically, no, you're wrong, without having any real argument. They also mentioned that the development plans to remove on street parking, which would be a valid concern, except I couldn't find any places in the plan where it looked like they would be removing spaces. In fact, with the removal of the gas stations, there may be room for even more on street parking. But it is possible that I missed something here. And the final reason for the opposition is architectural aesthetics, saying that a modern tower will ruin the historic neighborhood. They actually acknowledge the fact that there are existing towers towers right now, but they say that the fact that other large buildings exist is, quote, not a sufficient rationale to say additional towers will fit into the neighborhood. I would actually claim that the exact opposite is true. While some of these towers are really ugly, it by no means ruins the neighborhood for me. So that's what seems to be the fuss regarding this proposed tower in Old Town. If I missed something or misconstrued something, let me know. I really just want to best understand the issue. Thanks for watching.